Latest on Tropical Storm Erin, I'll show you the path and what the spaghetti models are saying.
It's scary, when you live so close by. It makes you worried, and hopefully, it doesn't happen again.
We are learning new details about the moments leading up to a shooting right outside a busy Publix. And Orlando is under the state's microscope. Auditors from Florida's DOJ are taking a hard look at the city's finances.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6 at 4 p.m.
We are starting off with breaking news. Check out this video of a banner plane upside down in the water. This happened near Ponce Inlet. We've learned no one was hurt, but it's not clear yet what went wrong. We have reached out to investigators for more information. And we now have Tropical Storm Erin, and it is expected to become the first major hurricane of the 2025 Atlantic season. Meteorologist Samara Kokinos is in for Jonathan Kagas tonight, tracking this for us. So what do we know at this point about this storm?
Okay, so right now what we're talking about is a tropical storm that is still far away from us, right? So it formed earlier today. Over the weekend, I was tracking it as 97L invest storm, right? So it got its act together pretty quickly, and then it persisted to just get a little more organized, and will continue to do that. As models indicate, it's moving into this area that will be favorable for additional development. But right now, as the 11 o'clock advisory, so we had 45-mile-per-hour winds with this system moving west pretty quickly at about 20 miles per hour. We're going to put the track on it so you can see it. As we put the track in motion, notice it continues over into the central tropical Atlantic, where by midweek we could be dealing with our first hurricane of the season as a Category 1 storm. Then it'll continue to strengthen from there. Notice as it gets closer to the Lesser Antilles, strengthening possibly to that Category 3 status. Notice the end, though, of this track. There's a lot of uncertainty still in the spaghetti models as to exactly where this system will go. I'll show you the updated spaghetti model plots and everything you need to know in terms of rain and everything for the first week back at school coming up in just a few minutes. Lisa.
All right, Samara, thank you. We are learning new details about a shooting right in the parking lot of a busy Publix. Ocoee police say an officer shot a woman in a stolen SUV. She has since died. We're also learning there's a second woman tied to this case. Now, this all happened yesterday at the Publix on West Road near Ocoee, Apopka Road in Ocoee. News 6's Catherine Silver has been uncovering new details for us throughout the day. She joins us now live. And Catherine, you found out what led up to this confrontation.
Yeah, it turns out that there was another woman who was a passenger inside of that stolen SUV, and we now have the report that says both of them went inside of this Publix before the shooting. Now, when Stacy Guerrero came back to the BMW and was approached by police here in the parking lot, they say she drove towards them, hitting two officers, and in response to that threat, one of them shot her. It's a Sunday afternoon, a prime shopping hour, when police surrounded this Publix on West Road in Ocoee. Investigators say Stacy Guerrero was the driver in this stolen silver BMW. According to police, she tried to run over two officers. That's when one of them fired their weapon, hitting Guerrero, who later died at the hospital.
It's really crazy to just come in here, my usual shopping experience, and see all this going on.
As police investigate the incident, News 6 has been looking into what led police to this parking lot in the first place.
You're not to return to the Publix, the scene of the crime.
This is Andrea Barboza. Documents obtained by News 6 confirm she was also in that stolen SUV Sunday and was arrested for theft. Both Barboza and Guerrero went into the Publix after 11 a.m. and started filling up shopping carts. Guerrero caught the eye of the manager, who recognized her from prior thefts. The report says she left the store and went back to the BMW when she noticed an employee following her. Our cameras saw police back at the Publix Monday, 24 hours after Guerrero was shot. The department says both officers who she struck with the SUV were not seriously hurt, but they are on leave, which is standard. Online records show that Guerrero has spent time in and out of jail over the last 3 decades. 10 years ago, she spent time in prison after reportedly kicking and clawing at an Orange County deputy's chest and arms. And 4 years ago, she was stopped by Orange County deputies who said that she ran from them after they saw her in a car with a damaged taillight. She purportedly told them that she did not have a license and did not want to go to jail. In Ocoee, I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
Catherine, thank you. The work week for Orlando City Hall employees started with a visit from Florida's DOGE team. Just last week, DOGE was taking a look at how Orange County spends money. Your Orlando community correspondent Mike Valenti joins us now live outside City Hall. So, Mike, how are city leaders responding to this audit?
So, Lisa, good evening. They're basically saying, go ahead, take a look at our books because we have nothing to hide. Now, the DOGE team, which is spearheaded by the state's new CFO, Blaise Ngolia, is here in Orlando today and tomorrow. Mayor Buddy Dyer told reporters today that city employees uploaded about 27,000 files as part of the process to cooperate with the DOGE team's requests. A letter from DOGE late last month to the city of Orlando included at least 60 requests seeking the opportunity to scrutinize documents related to things like diversity, equity, and inclusion, and homeless services. Critics of the DOGE efforts have cried foul, though, claiming that these audits are just politically motivated. So earlier today, I posed the same exact question to the mayor and to 2 city commissioners.
Do you view this as a legitimate probe or a political fishing expedition?
I'll pass on that one.
Okay. Do you think this is legitimate or political?
Hey, I'd say this. We're going to give you all the answers that you're looking for. That's what we're here for. We are fiscally responsible here at the city of Orlando, and that's all this will show.
So it doesn't matter.
Do these requests strike you as legitimate, or do you think this is a fishing expedition, as some critics have characterized it?
I don't know what to make out of it, but at the end of the day, audits have a positive purpose also, you know. It exonerates people from any kind of negative thinking anybody may have. So I welcome audits.
The DOGE letter also claimed that over the past 5 years in Orlando, annual property tax collections increased by 55% in the city, outpacing inflation and population growth. But Dyer and the commissioners, they expressed to me and other reporters, they're confident that once the audit is conducted and complete and the findings are produced, that everyone will see that the spending by the city of Orlando has been above board. We're live outside Orlando City Hall. I'm your Orlando community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
Mike, thank you. Today was the first day of school for most of Central Florida, but one 14-year-old is starting off the year in the hospital. The teen was riding an e-bike on Howland Boulevard near Roble Lane in Deltona this morning when a driver hit them. Deputies say the teen had to be airlifted to the hospital. A neighbor described the scene.
Just walked out. They were out there. They had the kid on the floor there next to his bike on the sidewalk, and it was pretty, it was pretty intense, for a little while. The kids over here, they fly through the street. I've seen them many times. I keep telling my wife, one of these kids are gonna get hurt.
So far, deputies have not said how the teen is doing or released any other information about the crash. Again, today marked the first day of school for most of Central Florida. In Seminole County, district leaders got their first look at a new expansion at Seminole High School. It comes during a time when both Seminole and Orange counties are seeing a decline in student enrollment. News 6's Mark Lehman shows us the expectations for this year.
It may not look like it from where I'm standing, but it is a busy day here at Seminole High School and at campuses all across Central Florida. It comes as districts are looking at a decline in enrollment, and we're taking a look at what's being done to increase those numbers.
Let's do some CPR.
District leaders getting an up-close demonstration of the newest expansion at Seminole High School's Health Academy.
It is for our students a need where we have addressed their interest and excite them about coming to school.
Superintendent Sarita Beeman says the magnet program is crucial for recruitment as Seminole County is coming off declining enrollment of around 1,500 students, which translates to a $13.5 million drop in funding.
We have reduced our workforce both at the school level and at the district level to accommodate for the reduced funding.
In Orange County, enrollment dropped by 3,000 students, which means a $27 million loss. The deficit forcing the district to put a 4-year pause on construction of new schools.
We have some very preliminary numbers that indicate that we have recouped families that had left OCPS.
Orange County attributes much of the loss to the state school voucher program and hired a firm to lure back students. For Seminole County, the focus is on specialized education programs as a shining example of what the district has to offer.
We have more options for parents, and they can fulfill all of their desires for their students' education career right here in our public schools.
Now, at this point, enrollment numbers are just an estimate, and districts will have a better idea in a couple of weeks. After 10 days, those districts will readjust the money allocation for each school based on those numbers. In Seminole County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
In Volusia County, there are some notable safety changes on school campuses this year. As part of a new statewide law, cell phones have to be put away from bell to bell for students in all elementary and middle schools. They can still be used with permission in high schools. Metal detectors are also being phased in, and the Sheriff's Office's new behavioral threat unit is being used to curb crime. Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed spoke with the sheriff and students.
It's modeled after what the Secret Service does. It's to identify who is a possible threat and then get them the mental health help that they need.
Based off of the way we've had other students acting in the past few years, we will definitely have more boundaries set for us this year, which should keep us in line and keep us more on track.
The goal of the behavioral threat unit is to get those responsible for threats in handcuffs and prosecuted faster. In Brevard County, if a driver goes around a school bus, they will be recorded and could face a ticket of $250. The county is also taking up cell phones in schools and considering a bell-to-bell ban for all students. That discussion is set for tomorrow. And Osceola County is facing a shortage of bus drivers. The district is hiring, but still needs about 20 more drivers to hit their goal of 300. Right now, the district is combining routes, and drivers are picking up extra students when it is safe to do so and making extra trips. Parents can get the My Reaxium app to track their students on the bus. Now, we posted everything you need to know about this school year on our website. Just head to clickorlando.com/back-to-school. During a time when we are seeing price increases just about everywhere, the same could be happening with your power bill. We'll explain why that's coming up. But first, the new school year marks a new chapter in the fight over book bans. We are hearing from two passionate moms from both sides of the argument.
News 6 Insider is sponsored by Orange County Library System.
I'm News 6 anchor Matt Austin. As we dive into a new school year, one topic has been dominating the headlines for the past few years. Which books should be allowed in schools? Now, this has become heavily politicized. So to tell you this story, I found two very passionate moms with two very different perspectives.
If you watch Orange County school board meetings about books in schools,
it's insulting to say that that's not an informed decision.
You will find two moms fighting for what they feel is the best for their kids.
99% of parents don't know that this material is in our kids' schools.
Alicia Ferrant, mom of 5, is an OCPS school board member who believes the board should curate content.
I feel like it's my job as a school board member to make sure that we protect and defend every child who comes into our schools.
And on the podium, Stefana Farrell, mom of 2. She says banning books from schools arbitrarily infringes on her kids' freedom.
My kids are still young. When they get to that high school age, I want them to have access to books that are going to represent the world that they're heading into.
So here are the cliff notes of this debate. For decades, counties had a process. Parents could file an issue at their school, then a committee would get together, research the book, and vote. Now, 5 years ago, this really wasn't much of an issue. Now, OCPS is taking books off the shelf without looking at individual works.
Recently, the Florida Department of Education told Hillsborough County to get rid of 55 books from its school libraries. It did.
I took care of it, and I took care of it immediately.
Then OCPS said, we have some of those books. We'll get rid of them too.
We will remove the, I believe, 13 books.
It's been very difficult to navigate because there's no clear delineation that this is inappropriate and this is appropriate. And the state statutes make it worse.
Matt Austin, News 6.
All right, we want to check in now with meteorologist Samara Kokinos. He's been tracking the heat for us out there today on this first day of school. I know most classes are now out for the day. How are things looking for the rest of the night for us tonight?
It does look like it's still going to be very humid out there for you, but you could be dodging a few downpours, which I'll show you in a moment. But the heat it's going to get a little bit hotter as the week goes on and still staying relatively humid. The rain chances are going to go down just a little bit, not anything drastic. And we're also still tracking the tropics with Tropical Storm Erin out there right now. So let's go ahead and get into that real quick. We'll have a latest on Tropical Storm Erin as of the 11 o'clock advisory. We get another track update tonight at 5. So that'll be coming up. But as of right now, moving to the west at 20 miles per hour with winds at 45 miles per hour, expected to become or strengthen to a Category 1 hurricane by midweek. So that'll be the first hurricane of the 2025 Atlantic season, and then continuing to strengthen, possibly reaching that Category 3 status by early Saturday morning as it gets a little bit closer to the north of the Lesser Antilles. So everybody's been watching the computer models on this, and at the very end, notice they're very tight together across the central tropical Atlantic, and then as you get closer to the end where we saw the big bulb at the end of the track, well, that's where our models start to have a little bit of disagreeing. So it depends on where this high is going to settle up. Also, it's going to determine if it weakens a little bit, so it could take a farther turn to the north, going closer to Bermuda, or it could get a little bit closer to the eastern seaboard. This is still pretty far out. We'll continue to watch it for you right now and give you updated on all the changes that'll happen, because they will continue to happen. Meanwhile, we also have 2 highlighted areas that'll be moving into the colder water of the northern Atlantic. They don't have a big chance of taking on development. I just wanted to address it because there were people asking about those yellow dots out there. That's what they are. The radar this afternoon not really showing a whole lot of activity. A few thunderstorms starting to fire up right now in southernmost Osceola County. I do believe the majority of the activity for the remainder of the day is going to be across the interior. Let's walk you hour by hour, starting the clock at 4. Notice that we'll be dealing with a few downpours from time to time, especially along the I-4 corridor, potentially there through about 5, maybe even 6 o'clock before everything shifts to the west toward the I-75 corridor by 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. So just as it has been all weekend long, you'll notice that the rain kind of shifts to the west and to the north as the night goes on, but the overall coverage isn't as substantial as it has been over the weekend. So we're starting to see a little less coverage. And as we head through the day tomorrow, I think by 2 or 3 o'clock, that's where we start to see a few downpours arrive and then continue for the drive home, possibly even a little bit beyond that going through the 9 o'clock hour. But again, this will be on the I-75 corridor side. So we still have tropical moisture feeding into Central Florida. But overall, this is what it looks like outside right now in Daytona Beach. Not a bad scenario from our Skycam. Temperatures in the upper 80s to low 90s. Here's a look at tonight.
Your forecast is sponsored by Renewal by Andersen.
Your lows will stay in the mid to upper 70s under partly cloudy skies. And as we look at that 7-day forecast, here you go. The heat is on, folks. We'll be with highs right around 96 and 95 degrees for the next 7 days. Your rain coverage will shift between about 40 and 50% all week long. Overnight lows in the mid to upper 70s, Lisa.
Samara, thank you. A major Florida electric company wants to increase rates. What this means for your power bill and how state leaders are reacting. That's next.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Light Orlando, delivering hope together.
State regulators paused a high-profile case on Florida Power and Light's rate hikes after the utility and many parties reached a tentative settlement. Meantime, some groups who did not agree want to keep the hearing going at the Public Service Commission. Details are still under wraps, but earlier this year, FPL asked to raise rates by over $1.5 billion in 2026 and nearly another $1 billion in 2027. They also plan to pass costs to customers for solar and battery projects in 2028 and 2029.
What this would do is present a really good opportunity to settle this case to the benefit of our customers that would keep bills low, well below the national average as they have been for over a decade, reliability high, and provide for the growth of our state. So it's good for our customers and good for Florida.
Opponents say the increases would be excessive.
I don't think anyone who has voiced their displeasure about the potential rate increase would agree that a closed-door settlement negotiation without a single consumer advocate group or organization at the table is in any way fair, transparent, or able to hold the decision makers accountable.
The hearing was set to include expert testimony and lead to a decision this fall on FPL's proposal. If the settlement is finalized, the commission will hold a hearing to decide whether to approve it. Port Canaveral is once again home to the largest cruise ship in the world. Royal Caribbean's Star of the Seas arrived at the port on Saturday. News 6's James Barbero got a tour of the new ship. It has 40 bars, restaurants, and lounges. It's also home to the largest water park at sea, an ice skating rink, laser tag, and an escape room experience. The first sailing with paying passengers is set for this Saturday. The first official voyage is later this month. A major waterway is one step closer to having better water quality after years of fish kills and algae blooms. The project making it happen and the impact here in Central Florida.
Today we investigate online marketplace fraud that's leaving sellers and buyers out of thousands of dollars. I'm News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden. In this week's Schemes and Ripoffs Alert, we talk to an Orange County woman who says it happened to her. Coming up.
Welcome back. We are following several top stories right now. Ocoee police say an officer shot and killed a woman driving a stolen SUV yesterday near the Publix on West Road. Investigators say Stacy Guerrero tried to run over two officers, prompting the officer to open fire. Another woman, Andrea Barboza, was a passenger in the car. Online records show Guerrero has a long criminal history, including prison time for attacking a deputy and running from police. Florida's Department of Governmental Efficiency, or DOGE, is auditing the city of Orlando today and tomorrow. The DOGE letter claimed that over the last 5 years in Orlando, annual property tax collections increased by 55%, outpacing inflation and the growing population. But the city says they are confident the audit will show that the city's increase in spending is justified. A 14-year-old riding an e-bike this morning was taken to the hospital after a driver hit them. This happened on Howland Boulevard near Roble Lane in Deltona. Deputies have not said how the teen is doing or released any other information about the crash. And we have this week's Schemes and Ripoffs alert.
Tonight, we investigate online marketplace fraud that's leaving sellers and buyers out of thousands of dollars. I'm News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden. In this week's Schemes and Ripoffs alert, we talked to an Orange County woman who says it happened to her.
So I uploaded the app.
Noriella's Maldonado Lutz only wanted to sell a few things on Poshmark.
I went ahead and I started adding all the pictures of my items, doing my profile.
When creating her profile, she says somehow her email address ended up on her public page and scammers were waiting. She immediately got this email, which appeared to be from the Poshmark team, but was really from a crook. When she clicked the link, a chat box came up asking for a credit card and telling her they needed to confirm her credit card information with a test charge. It was a big one.
I'm like, why are you doing $1,400? If I'm going to be selling, why are you charging that much for a test?
She immediately felt uneasy and immediately contacted her credit card company.
They never refunded me the money. They told me that because I allowed them to use my credit card number, that I was responsible for it.
She says she disputed the charge 5 times, but the credit card company held firm.
That it was not fraud, that it was a scam. And I'm like, isn't that the same thing?
News 6 contacted Poshmark, and a spokesperson told us via email, ensuring our community has a positive experience on Poshmark is of the utmost importance, which is why we established community guidelines that apply to all Poshers. They advise keeping transactions on Poshmark. They also say do not post private communications, contact information such as your email address and a phone number or other personal details in any public spaces on Poshmark.
The protection is the protection you afford yourself.
Holly Sammons is the president of the Better Business Bureau of Central Florida. She agrees with keeping all communication within the platform you're using. That outside email opened the door to the fraud.
And unfortunately, that can be a really expensive lesson to learn.
Maldonado Lutz says she's done with marketplaces for good.
I have literally no apps on my phone other than the phone calls and the text messages from my family.
Why?
Because I don't trust them. I don't trust them anymore.
Remember, don't fall for the scheme. Don't get ripped off. But if you do, email me at theinvestigators@wkmg.com. I'm Lewis Bolden, News 6.
Tonight, Sanford leaders will vote on raising fire assessment fees. City officials say the fire department needs to raise about $2.4 million a year to cover costs and fund important upgrades. The mayor says the fee would be about $95 a year for each household. The topic has sparked debate between neighbors and city leaders ahead of a final vote in early September.
You can put lipstick on the pig and it's still a pig, and that is a tax. I don't care what you say, that is an attack, and it wasn't assessed. It is an imposed, non-voted for tax.
If approved, the fee would apply to all property owners, even those with tax exemptions, which has many retired residents concerned. Another public hearing is set for tonight's regular meeting at 7. We are learning a major restoration project to help clean up the water flowing into the Indian River Lagoon is now finished. The governor says it's all thanks to a major state investment. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez explains what this project means for the area.
100 years ago, the M1 canal was built to control flooding here in Brevard County. But over time, it changed the way water naturally flowed between the St. John River and the Indian River Lagoon. Because of this, stormwater from over 53,000 acres in nearby communities carried harmful nutrients into the lagoon, leading to algae blooms and damaging water quality. The Crane Creek and M1 Canal project was started to fix this problem. The governor announcing today that it's done, and it will substantially reduce nutrient loading by providing an alternative water supply source to downstream users by restoring 7 million gallons of freshwater flow per day to the St. Johns River.
The project protects water quality, safeguards wildlife, and strengthens the community's way of life.
The project created 2 pump stations, 2 pipeline force mains, and a stormwater treatment area. This will prevent 24,000 pounds of nitrogen and 3,100 pounds of phosphorus from reaching the Indian River Lagoon annually, which is the same as a dump truck full of nutrients. Reporting in Brevard County, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Tonight, Lake Helen is holding a special meeting to decide whether to keep its police department or contract with the Volusia County Sheriff's Office. Leaders say using the Sheriff's Office would save the city money. They are considering making the decision themselves or letting people vote on it in November.
Got the legal authority to make a vote. Maybe get a feel from the community. This is such a big issue in the sense of what it might do emotionally. Maybe put it out in November for referendum.
If they choose to have a referendum, it must be submitted by September. If approved, Lake Helen would join other cities like Deltona and DeBary that rely on the Sheriff's Office instead of their own police departments. The meeting starts at 6 tonight. We'll keep you updated. Taking a live look at Washington, D.C., that's where the president says his administration is taking over the city's police department and deploying the National Guard. The president says it's an effort to reduce crime and beautify the city. Erica Brown explains from the White House.
We're going to take our capital back.
President Trump said he is placing Washington, D.C.'s police department under federal control and deploying the National Guard to help combat crime and remove homeless encampments.
I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor.
The president said he was declaring a public safety emergency, although police data shows violent crime in Washington is down 26% over the last year, and homicides are down 12%.
This is not about crime. This is about control.
Some D.C. residents protested the takeover. D.C.'s mayor also spoke out against the move.
While this action today is unsettling and unprecedented, I can't say that given some of the rhetoric of the past, that we're totally surprised.
President Trump called today's discussions about Washington's safety and appearance, quote, embarrassing, ahead of Friday's high-stakes talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin to discuss ending the war in Ukraine. The meeting, to be held in Alaska, was requested by Putin.
This summit is a diplomatic slam dunk for Vladimir Putin. Ever since his invasions of Ukraine in 2014 and 2022, he's been isolated globally.
A key issue to be addressed is the territory seized during the 3.5 years of fighting.
There'll be some land swapping going on. I know that through Russia and through conversations with everybody.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is not currently scheduled to attend Friday's meeting and said any decisions made without Ukraine are against peace. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
A popular Volusia County park is now closed for a big repair and improvement project. Frank Rendon Park in Daytona Beach Shores was badly damaged during Hurricanes Ian and Nicole. The project includes building a new seawall along with adding a new ADA accessible dune walkover and rebuilding storm damaged pavilions. The work is expected to take 6 months.
3, 2, 1. 0. Engines full power and liftoff. Go Piper, go Falcon.
A mid-morning launch from the Space Coast today. After several setbacks, SpaceX was able to get Amazon's Project Kuiper satellites off the ground. Those are Amazon's attempt to compete with SpaceX's Starlink network. The rocket took off just after 8:30 this morning from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. SpaceX also had a big homecoming this weekend. Crew 10 splashed down off the coast of California on Saturday after 148 days in space.
SpaceX Dragon, splashdown. SpaceX Dragon, happy splashdown.
That crew was part of NASA's ongoing mission to the International Space Station and included 2 Americans, a Japanese astronaut, and a Russian cosmonaut. Well, this could be a game changer for mass transit in Central Florida.
Now there's a way to get out to a palm clip. It kind of consolidates all the problems.
How this brand new bus transfer station will make it easier to get around. That's next.
I'm tracking a few showers and an isolated thunderstorm moving into Osceola County right now. I'll show you how much longer we could see rain on the radar tonight and what to expect for the upcoming week, along with that updated look at the tropics.
And before we head to break, we have an all-new primetime schedule on News 6 Plus to tell you about. We have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9. Go in depth as we track the tropics and answer your weather questions at 9:30. Then watch the late news an hour earlier. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus. And you can download our streaming app for free. Just search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. This brand new transfer station in Pine Hills aims to help bus riders get around Central Florida. The $15 million station features 8 bays, around 10 routes, and really a nice feature in the summer and the rain, a canopy. Your Pine Hills community correspondent Darrell Baker was there for the grand opening over the weekend.
Rashad Bradley has been riding the bus in Pine Hills since 1994. Now, for the first time, he can catch a bus at the brand new Lynx transfer station in Pine Hills.
Being on the bus for all these years, it's a good thing that there is one place here, because now there's a way to get out to a pop clip, and it kind of consolidates all the problems.
Rashad normally rushes to catch his bus off of Hiawassee Road, under the sun, or during dark nights. But with new canopy covering, lighting, and security on site, Bradley says it's much easier.
With there being the security, with there being at least what I can see so far, a lot of security in place, should be pretty safe.
Passengers can transfer between 10 routes here instead of traveling all the way to the central station downtown.
Now it's like a link up. The buses all can be here. So any bus you need to, all you got to do is come down the street. So right here.
Matt Friedman with Link says for the last month, staff have been training, and opening on Sunday with fewer travelers and buses will help them prepare for the week.
Making sure the operators know where they're going, making sure the supervisors know where they're going. But there's a lot of people that put a lot of work behind the scenes, from our service planning folks, our project managers, our customer service folks.
Friedman expects to see thousands come through Monday, and several riders are hoping to see more transfer stations pop up around Orange County.
You got Ocoee, Apopka, you got different areas in a city where we need more central stations than just one or two.
Riders also say the station will be a major help for students going back to school and helping voters get to their precinct during elections. In Pine Hills, Darrell Baker, News 6.
And that canopy is certainly key during the summer months when we deal with so much intense heat and sun, and of course those storms out there that you're tracking right now, Samara.
Yeah, absolutely, Lisa. You nailed it right there on the head. I mean, we're talking about downpours that can happen with any passing thunderstorm just because they are tropically, basically, they have a lot of tropical moisture in them. So I'm going to zoom in here to Osceola County with this one thunderstorm that you can see is continuing to move to the north. It's moved to the north a little bit quicker than I anticipated. Now has a special weather statement with it for wind gusts going up to about 40 and 50 miles per hour with this particular storm. Now notice the downpours also moving just into Osceola County, or will be here shortly, right along the turnpike near Yeehaw Junction. You can see a few downpours with some lightning there too, a couple hundred strikes between the two cells. But they're going to continue to move to the north and then spread out back to the north and west as the evening progresses. We also have a few little downpours just south of the city and then just outside to the west of Edgewater tonight. So we'll continue to watch those. They're going to continue for the next couple of hours, which I'll show you in a moment. Meanwhile, all eyes have been on Tropical Storm Erin. That'll continue to make its way slowly into the central tropical Atlantic. Now, the thing is, when we look at where Erin is headed, look at these temperatures. Look at this. We're talking about low and then getting into the mid 80s. That is fuel for a system to really kind of get bigger and bigger as it progresses westward across the Atlantic. So look at this particular track as the 5 p.m. advisory. This is the latest advisory that has just come out, moving west at 21 miles per hour, packing 45 mile per hour winds with 1,004 millibars of pressure. So when we look at this particular track, it'll continue to make its way west into the central tropical Atlantic, now putting a Category 1 hurricane into early Thursday morning versus Wednesday night. So I think we're going to see it go back and forth between Wednesday and Thursday when we could actually see that Category 1 hurricane, which will be the first one of the 2025 Atlantic season. Now, watch this. As we get closer to the end of this track, it starts to get a little bit bigger, and that's where our models are not all in agreement, but it has kept it at a Category 3 hurricane, staying to the north of the Leeward Islands. Now, keep in mind, this is still pretty far out there, and models will continue to disagree a little bit near the end of that track. But as we get closer to that time frame, of course, they'll start to come together a little bit more. But a lot of them are keeping it away from the eastern seaboard for now. for now, but of course we'll keep an eye on it. The rest of this evening, like I mentioned, through 5 and even 7 o'clock tonight, we will be dealing with those thunderstorms moving to the west-northwest and then clearing. A few downpours are quite possible. We could see a few flood advisories. It's quite possible. Going into the day tomorrow at noon, a few showers popping up, but I think the majority of the activity again goes from the I-95 corridor back to the west between the hours of about 3 and then possibly a little bit later tomorrow night down that I-75 corridor. Look at this, through about 10 or 11 o'clock tomorrow night, we could still be dealing with a few downpours. It's possible your rain coverage stays between about 40 and 50% for the next several days, slightly lower than it was over the weekend. A live view outside in Daytona Beach, beautiful. Daytona Beach is at 88, 89 in Melbourne to lower 90s in Orlando and Sanford. Here's a look at tonight.
Your forecast is sponsored by Ramjack.
Your lows will stay right around the mid to upper 70s, even the low 80s along the Melbourne coastline, or the Brevard County coastline rather. Let's look at that 7-day forecast for you. Here we go. Your high tomorrow will rebound to 95 degrees, but we stay between 95 and 96 pretty much for the upcoming work week going into this upcoming weekend. But look at the rain chances between 40 and 50% each day. So that's why we cranked up the heat just a little bit there, Lisa.
All right, Samara, thank you. You can open your camera app, scan that QR code on your screen right now and click the link, because we want to see your weather pictures and videos. They could end up on TV. You can also go to clickorlando.com/pins and upload your pictures and videos that way. Well, this business is not just serving food and coffee. How this coffee shop is brewing opportunities, purpose, and a community for young adults with special needs. That's next. As we take a live look at Mount Dora, you're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
Coming up in the morning, fighting chronic absenteeism in schools.
I'll show you the model that one local school says is getting results and what it could mean for students all over Central Florida.
We're going to give you everything you need to be successful in our model.
Just show up.
Just show up with your body.
Plus, our rain chances go up a bit, all as the tropics heat up. We have your forecast every 10 minutes.
We'll see you for News 6 mornings starting at 6.
There's a new coffee shop in South Florida that brews more than just Java. It's providing a place to work for adults with special needs. Maribel Rodriguez spoke with the owner about how the opportunity is giving them purpose.
Hi. Welcome to No Limits Coffee Shop.
Thank you. What's your name?
Sebastian.
Welcome to a special place in the heart of Kendall.
So how's everything going?
Good.
That's good, that's good. I hope you're having an amazing day.
Meet 20-year-old Peter Bradford. He is striving, he is happy in a place he loves.
How do you like this beautiful experience?
It's incredible. And we're very proud. This is No Limits Coffee Shop. It's not just a spot serving food and coffee. It's also brewing opportunities, purpose, and a community for young adults with special needs. Is this your first job?
Yes, my first job. I'm happy, I'm appreciative, and everyone says like, wow, Peter's amazing.
No Limits is a labor of love for Kia Lopez, a teacher who owns a school for children with special needs.
The reason we opened this restaurant was because they were graduating and aging out of the system, and we noticed that there was a huge need for something for them once they enter into adulthood.
Lopez says she wants to give these adults with unique abilities a purpose, a place of belonging, independence, and a chance.
Our kids are bussing tables on their own, and they're making coffee on their own, and they're running out food, and they're greeting guests, and they're hosting, and it doesn't take much for them. They just need someone to give them a chance.
Hello, good morning.
He's more independent. He wants to, Mommy, when I get my first paycheck, I'm going to help you with the bills now.
Their goal is to promote inclusion, awareness, and acceptance, and with the right opportunity, no limits to what they can achieve.
It makes me happy to see my mom proud of me, and I'm happy to be proud of my own mother.
Says it all. Says it all. I love you.
Just last month, we told you about a local nonprofit called Inclusivity and Orlando's Primrose Center. The nonprofit empowers intellectually diverse adults with hospitality jobs. The Primrose Center supports more than 300 people with intellectual and developmental disabilities across Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties. Now, you can learn more about that nonprofit and what the center has to offer in this story at clickorlando.com. News 6 at 5 is up next. Anchor Matt Austin is in the newsroom with what's ahead. Matt?
Well, right now, the Orange County Supervisor of Elections is scrambling to fix a major mistake, the latest on the printing error on a sample ballot sent to thousands of voters. And students returning to school in Volusia County will notice a major change in security this year. In minutes, the new technology and a new sheriff's unit working with schools to target threats. Plus, new information on a shooting in an Orange County shopping plaza. What we're learning about a driver who was shot by Ocoee police. Your forecast is only minutes away. Don't forget, you can stream all of our newscasts and live cameras like this look at Port Canaveral for free anytime on News 6 Plus. Your meteorologist will have a look at the weather coming your way tonight and tomorrow as we kick off back to school week.
learning there was also a passenger and small SUV.
Hi, mic check. 1, 2, 3. We're learning that there was a passenger who was also inside that SUV who was arrested. And we now have the report that says both women went inside of this Publix before the shooting. Probably the car. It's the car. We're in a parking lot. I'm not worried about it.
Now at 5, a shooting at a busy Publix plaza in Orange County. An officer fires shots at a driver in a stolen car. The latest on the investigation that has turned deadly. Plus, a printing error on sample ballots sent to thousands of voters. Reaction from Orange County's Supervisor of Elections office. And
on the first day of school in Brevard County, the superintendent is talking about the issues that will affect students, including their phones. I'll explain more coming up.
You're watching News 6 at 5. Thank you for joining us on this first day back to school. I'm Matt Austin.
And I'm Lisa Bell. First, though, we want to begin with the weather tonight as we take a live look at our Launch Credit Union cam at Port Canaveral.
So we just got our 5th named storm of the hurricane season. We're keeping an eye on it. Meteorologist Samara Kokinos is here with the latest on Aaron. Samara, it's looking like Aaron will be the first hurricane?
It does. And the latest track, when you see it here in just a moment, is going to show you that it's going to go between Wednesday and Thursday, I think, is when it's going to happen and become that Category 1 hurricane, the first one of the 2025 Atlantic season. Right now, as of the 5 o'clock update, moving to the west at 21 miles per hour, 1,004 millibars of pressure with 45 mile per hour winds. Now, this particular system has run into a little bit of dry air, but it's not going to slow it down by much. But check this out here. We'll put the track in motion. We start it here and it goes through all the way through about Wednesday night as a tropical storm before it makes that progression into that Category 1 hurricane early Thursday morning. But again, that could fluctuate between those couple of days. We'll continue to watch it. Now, look at the end of this track model. You'll notice it says a major Category 3 status. I do anticipate that to happen. All the models have been really favoring that, but you'll notice the end of the track is still pretty wide. So that means our models aren't necessarily agreeing as to exactly where the system will go after that point. You know, anytime we say beyond that, there's a lot of uncertainty in the modeling, and there still is. Notice it stays above or to the north of the Lesser Antilles, and a lot of the modeling has been kind of showing the progression going closer to Bermuda and staying away from the eastern seaboard, but there's still the potential. Now watch as you look at this spread that we do have a couple of models that keep it a little bit closer to the eastern seaboard. That is something that we're going to watch very closely over the next several days. It's going to be into a favorable environment come midweek for that progressing into that bigger storm, as well as, you know, hey, is it going to stay out over the open Atlantic? Is it going to go between Bermuda and the eastern seaboard? Those are all things that'll come into a clearer picture as we get later into the work week, of course. Now, I'll be back to show you the rain that's on the radar. We have a few thunderstorms rocking parts of central Florida. I'll show you how long they stick around in just a few minutes, guys.
All right, Samara, thank you. Developing right now at 5. Check out this video that we just got in the last hour into our newsroom of a Banner plane crash landing into the water near Ponce Inlet earlier this afternoon. This is video posted by the town. There are no serious injuries, but in this video, you can see the plane just drop out of the sky before it skids across the sand and ends up crashing into the water. Now, this is an up-close view that shows the plane upside down in the water. The FAA says the plane crashed around 1 o'clock this afternoon and only the pilot was on board. The FAA is investigating. The agency will post a preliminary incident report as soon as tomorrow.
We're asking the Volusia Sheriff's Office for more information on the condition of a teen who was hit by a car while riding an e-bike. The whole thing happened near Howland Boulevard and Roble Lane in Deltona. It's just east of Teresa Lake there, not far from Pride Elementary School. So you can see investigators on the scene. That 14-year-old ended up getting airlifted to the hospital for the injuries. News 6's Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed spoke to a neighbor.
The kids over here, they fly through the street. I've seen them many times. I keep telling my wife, one of these kids are going to get hurt. Everybody has to slow down. The kids has to slow down in their bikes. The people that are driving have to slow down in their bike. You know, I don't have any kids myself, but I would have been distraught if I would have heard that, you know, especially on the first day of school.
Volusia County Schools says the child was not one of their students. We'll be sure to bring you updates here on News 6 and on clickorlando.com.
If you received a sample ballot in the mail from the Orange County Supervisor of Elections, you need to check it carefully. Ballots were sent to about 89,000 voters ahead of the House District 40 special general election next month. But there is a big mistake on it. It has the wrong name for one of the candidates. District 40 includes parts of northwest Orange County. It starts on the west side of I-4 right at College Park and includes Rosemont, Lockhart, Mercy Drive, the Fairgrounds, Pine Hills, and Ocoee. News 6's Laverne McGee went to the Supervisor of Elections office to find out how this happened.
Because of this, we're going to work harder, right?
Rashawn Young is the Democratic nominee for the House District 40 special election. But if you are one of the almost 89,000 people who got a sample ballot this weekend, you will not see his name. You can see right here the name of the man he beat in the 24th Democrat special election primary election, Traveris McCurdy. A shocking mistake by the Orange County Supervisor of Elections office, led by Karen Castor-Dental.
I found out because I looked in the mailbox and pulled out my sample ballot and saw the error. But the team reached out to the supervisor's office and she called me within the hour and assured me that they were going to make it right.
This College Park resident has Young signs on her lawn and is not happy his name was left off the sample ballot.
They shouldn't be making a mistake, but they did.
I asked Orange County Supervisor of Elections Karen Castor-Dental for an interview, but was told she was working on correcting the situation. Instead, her spokesperson told me what happened.
And we've been more than happy to explain, it's a printing error. It did happen here in-house. It wasn't our vendor's fault. It was an error here on our end, and we've traced it. We've traced the origin, and we're working to rectify it.
As for how much this will cost taxpayers?
I would estimate maybe somewhere in the $25,000 range to fix or rectify with postage and everything included.
Young has been State Representative LaVon Bracey Davis Chief of Staff for the last 3 years and is now running for her position. She is also on this special election ballot as the Democrat candidate for Senate District 15. So why is this special election even happening?
I ran for Senate District 15. I was successful in my primary, and candidate Rashawn Young ran for my seat as that was part of my succession plan and his succession plan when that time became available. So we're in a special election because of the untimely death of Senator Geraldine Thompson.
Affected voters should be getting a new sample ballot prior to early voting, which starts on August 23rd. Election day is September 2nd. In Orange County, Laverne McGee, News 6.
Tonight, 2 juveniles facing serious charges after Windermere police say they rammed 2 police cars in a stolen truck. Officers spotted them walking suspiciously along Lake Butler Boulevard early yesterday, they say. As Jana Manohalal explains, things quickly escalated from there.
Windermere police say this all started just after 4 a.m. on Sunday when officers spotted what they call 2 suspicious juveniles walking along Lake Butler Boulevard. When the officers tried to approach them, they ran away on foot. Investigators say that one of the suspects found a pickup truck with the keys still in the ignition, started it up, and tried to make his getaway. But he didn't get very far, ending up on a dead-end street before ramming the stolen truck into a Windermere police car and an Ocoee police car before finally getting arrested. Neighbors like 16-year-old Geronimo Esteve say this is something they have never had to deal with.
It's terrifying, to be honest, to lose a car. I mean, I would not want that to happen, especially to my car or any of my dad's cars.
So both suspects were actually already in the custody of Windermere Police Department by sunrise, but that was before the pair tried to pick up a few more vehicles here on Lake Butler Boulevard, including this Jeep right here. Nicole Gegg says it was only her second day being home from college when police were knocking on her door to tell her that her Jeep was broken into.
As far as I know, nothing was taken. Luckily, that night I had cleared out my entire car. I had just moved from out of the state. So I had just taken everything out. Like if it had happened the night before, I had my entire apartment in my car.
Police say that they also recovered possible stolen property connected to other cases in Orange County. Now, I did reach out to the Windermere Police Department because at the bottom of their statement, it says that there are charges that are still pending, but we have yet to hear back from the department about what those charges are or when they're going to be finalized. In Windermere, your community correspondent, Jada Manahalal, News 6.
Tonight, we're learning some new details on a weekend shooting involving Ocoee police and a stolen SUV.
We're learning the woman in the BMW who was shot by police in a Publix parking lot has now died. This all happened yesterday at the Publix on West Road near Ocoee, Apopka Road in Ocoee. 2 officers are now on leave, and there is a second suspect tied to this case. News 6's Catherine Silver has been uncovering new details throughout the day. She joins us now. And Catherine, you found out what led up to this confrontation.
Yes, we're learning that there was also a passenger inside of that stolen SUV that was arrested. And we now have the report that says both women went inside of this Publix before the shooting. Now, when Stacey Guerrero came back to the BMW and was approached by police in this parking lot, they say she drove towards them, hitting 2 officers. And in response to that threat, one of them shot her. It's a Sunday afternoon, a prime shopping hour, when police surrounded this Publix on West Road in Ocoee. Investigators say Stacey Guerrero was the driver in this stolen silver BMW. According to police, she tried to run over 2 officers. That's when one of them fired their weapon, hitting Guerrero, who later died at the hospital.
It's really crazy to just come in here, my usual shopping experience, and see all this going on.
As police investigate the incident, News 6 has been looking into what led police to this parking lot in the first place. This is Andrea Barboza. Documents obtained by News 6 confirm she was also in that stolen SUV Sunday and was arrested for theft. Both Barboza and Guerrero went into the Publix after 11 a.m. and started filling up shopping carts. Guerrero caught the eye of the manager, who recognized her from prior thefts. The report says she left the store and went back to the BMW when she noticed an employee following her. Our cameras saw police back at the Publix Monday, 24 hours after Guerrero was shot. The department says both officers who she struck with the SUV were not seriously hurt, but they are on leave, which is standard. We've also been looking into Guerrero's past. Online records show she has an extensive criminal history, including battery on a law enforcement officer and fleeing and eluding. I'm live in Ocoee. Catherine Silver, News 6.
Thank you, Catherine. Gas prices at the pump could be going up for drivers in Seminole County.
What it means for the future of transportation, that's coming up.
Back to school means back to slowing down in school zones. At least it should. Coming up, I'll show you how these cameras work and what happens if you're caught going a little too fast.
Today's Port Canaveral Cam is sponsored by Launch Credit Union.
So new video obtained by News 6 shows drivers speeding through an active school zone. In the last year, law enforcement agencies across Central Florida have added speed cameras in school zones to try to crack down on dangerous driving.
So here is a look at the places with cameras and how many school zones have them. Palm Bay, Eustis, Leesburg, Ocoee, Orlando, St. Cloud, Mount Dora, and parts of unincorporated Osceola County. That's where News 6 anchor Justin Warmoth found out some drivers were caught going triple the speed limit.
You've probably seen them, cameras going up in school zones across Central Florida. They are clocking speeders and they're sending a clear message: slow down when school's in session. This is the kind of behavior the new cameras are meant to stop. Lights clearly flashing, drivers clearly speeding, putting students at risk.
We have seen people violate that, sometimes as high as driving through 60 and 70 miles an hour, which is outrageous for anybody to actually see that somebody could do that, but we're seeing that.
Captain Kim Montez with the Osceola County Sheriff's Office says thousands of tickets have already been issued since the cameras went live. They're up and running near 16 different schools in the county, snapping away at drivers going too fast.
If you're speeding 11 or more over the posted speed limit, some school zones are 15, some are 20, that camera will capture your vehicle with your tag and you will be issued a civil infraction, which is $98.
Under the state's new law, school zone cameras can operate 30 minutes before school, during, and up to 30 minutes after school. In Osceola County, deputies review each violation, confirming lights were flashing, signs were correct, and the vehicle matches the plate before any citation is mailed out.
No points are assessed on this. It doesn't affect your traffic record. Your insurance doesn't go up. But more importantly, we're hoping that those people that violate this law, they won't do it again.
What do you tell people who think that this is a money grab for a county or a city and not necessarily for safety?
You know, $98 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that could affect a family, especially a family nowadays with the economy the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
We understand that, but we think it's cheaper than a funeral for a child.
In Osceola County, Justin Warmoth, News 6.
All right, so first day of school, a lot of nerves out there. Everything went well. The bell in the Austin house.
We've received reports,
yes.
so far so good.
Samara Kokinos, I know you're out there. It was not a bad day to start school.
No.
Are there some complications out there now?
Yes, there's a little bit of a thunderstorm that is brewing to our south tonight. Right now in Osceola County near Nakusi, you'll notice that this thunderstorm, though, as it continues to move to the north, it has a special weather statement with it, and that is for wind gusts up near 50 miles per hour, just as anticipated. But look at all that heavy rain moving through St. Cloud, Harmony, Holopaw, just getting a little bit of that edge there of some light rain after some heavier rain has just flown through there. But about 150 or plus 174 lightning strikes associated with this particular thunderstorm as it moves very quickly to the north. It's already almost out of my frame. It's moving to the north at about 30 miles per hour, so it is anticipated to get closer to the I-4 corridor and then continue to kind of spread out back to the north and west. We'll start to see a little bit more action developing later this evening. So as we look at temperatures, really haven't been impacted just yet. We're expecting to see that temperature drop there in Kissimmee coming up here in a bit. But right now, temperatures in the mid to lower 90s, even the upper 80s, feeling like triple-digit heat out there. So the humidity has definitely stuck with us. Now, as we look at the clouds and rain forecast, we start the clock at 5. Notice that this particular model is not really picking up on the action to our south, but it is dragging that moisture up that I-4 corridor. So I do anticipate to see some more action as we go into tonight, going to Orlando areas to the north and then back to the north and west. You'll notice that a lot of the action by about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight will be back toward the I-75 corridor and then clearing out from there. Not as widespread coverage as what we saw over the weekend, but still enough moisture in the atmosphere to really give us a few downpours. Overnight through early tomorrow morning and for the first half of tomorrow, I think we're going to be relatively dry. By noon, maybe an isolated shower or two, and then that begins to pick up again after about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You'll notice I-95 back to the west is where the majority of the action is going to be. Some of those thunderstorms tomorrow night could linger a bit later to about 10 or 11 o'clock down the I-75 corridor and into parts of even southernmost Lake County, going closer to the turnpike there near the Kissimmee area or back to the west. And we'll still have some downpours because the tropical moisture is still going to be feeding a lot of this activity. So here's a look at your accurate forecast for tropics.
Your forecast is sponsored by Payne Law.
As we look at Tropical Storm Erin, you'll notice that the track continues to move that system to the west at 21 miles per hour, still with 45-mile-per-hour winds, eventually getting up there to that Category 1 hurricane status either Wednesday or Thursday this week, progressing back to the west and then getting a little bit larger there in the terms of the at the track. You'll notice it kind of bulges out there, still putting it as a potentially Category 3 storm by Saturday afternoon. Has everything to do with the fuel that we're going to be experiencing as that system makes its way west. It's going to be moving through sea surface temperatures anywhere between 82 and 85 degrees. That is a lot of fuel to give this system. So yeah, could it reach that Category 3 status? Absolutely. That's why the tropical models have been showing, but they've been continuously showing a little bit of divide at the end of that track, which we typically see. But when we look at the steering pattern, you know, this area of high pressure is going to be one of those factors. Here comes Erin, and you'll notice that it kind of has a weakening on that edge there of high pressure, which could drive it closer to Bermuda and away from the eastern seaboard. But again, this is so far out right now. We're going to continuously monitor those changes for you and bring you any updates. For now, where it's going to happen, if it's going to end up closer to the eastern seaboard, that'll be something we continue to watch as we get closer to the end of the work week for you. Now let's have a look at that 7-day forecast. You'll notice that your high temperatures will stay right around 95 and 96 degrees. Your rain coverage between 40 and 50% each day. So we're talking about dodging downpours in the afternoons, primarily across the interior portions of Central Florida, guys.
All right, Samara, thank you. Well, the first day of school is obviously a huge deal. We want to see some of those pins, some adorable kids out there. They might end up on TV. Go to clickorlando.com/pins. Upload your pics and your videos that way. We have various channels, including space, pets, and weather that are pretty popular on there these days.
Especially the pet pictures.
Oh, yeah,
so
those
cute.
are big hits. All right, well, prices could be going up for drivers in Seminole County.
Yeah, the big vote happening in just hours. That's coming up. Plus, the city of Winter Springs faces a tough decision over a hefty tree fee after the commission decided not to charge a developer. The latest on the controversy coming up.
Your Monday evening traffic alert. Not only is it back to school, but we're taking all the construction back in. No holidays planned, so make sure you're paying attention overnight. I-4 east and westbound, we'll see those lane closures between Florida Turnpike down towards Sand Lake. Also, State Road 417 north and southbound, and out here along I-95 approaching the Melbourne area. We've seen this lane closure. Do expect it. And of course, a reminder, back to school in the morning. Make sure you're paying attention. I'm Trooper Steve with the News 6 traffic alert. Drive safely. I'll catch you in the morning.
Well, this time around was $35, but it's usually 35 to 40. That's just for half a tank. So it's usually an $80 or $90 fill up if I need to.
Prices could be getting more expensive for drivers in Seminole County. Last week, we told you the county is looking into a 5-cent hike to their gas tax, going from 7 to 12 cents. Tomorrow morning, the county board will officially put it to a vote. The move would make them the 34th county to charge the max amount for gas. Currently, 33 of Florida's 67 counties charge an extra 12 cents on every gallon sold. Seminole's neighbor Orange County remains at 6 cents. Most of Central Florida's counties do a 7-cent fuel tax. The additional revenue from the Seminole County tax increase is planned to fund transportation projects, including capital improvements like mass transit facilities. If that vote passes, it will go into effect January 1st.
Florida drivers continue to see up and down prices at the pump. According to new numbers from AAA, drivers were paying an average of $3.04 a gallon for regular unleaded. That's up 10 cents from a week earlier, still though below the national average of $3.14.
Still to come, new school year, new rules.
What the Brevard County School Board is expected to debate in just hours that will impact cell phone use in the classroom.
Tonight, the tree fee controversy in this city comes to a head. Commissioners here at City Hall will consider reversing their vote after they gave a developer nearly a $250,000 break. The story coming up.
And here is a live look at Daytona Beach. You're watching News 6. Keep it here. We'll be right back. Glad you're with us. I'm Lisa Bell.
I'm Matt Austin. You're watching News 6 at 5. We're following several top stories for you right now. Ocoee police say an officer shot and killed a woman driving an SUV that was stolen yesterday near the Publix on West Road. Investigators say Stacy Guerrero tried to run over two officers, prompting the officer to fire. Another woman, Andrea Barboza, was a passenger in the car. Online records show Guerrero has a long criminal history, including prison time for attacking a deputy and running from police.
A Banner plane crash landed upside down in the water near Ponce Inlet today. The Volusia Sheriff's Office tells us no one was hurt. The FAA is investigating the cause of the crash. And we are asking the Volusia County Sheriff's Office for more information on the condition of a teenager who was airlifted to the hospital just before 10 this morning. Investigators say the teen was hit by a car while he was riding an e-bike. This happened near Howland Boulevard and Robo Lane in Deltona.
Well, starting in about an hour, a simmering summer-long controversy comes to a head in Winter Springs. City commissioners have been under fire since June for letting a developer off the hook for almost $250,000 in tree fees. Your Winter Springs community correspondent, News 6 anchor Eric Von Aken has been following every step of the controversy, as tonight, commissioners will meet again to discuss reversing that decision.
Tonight, you can expect to see lots of docs here, documents the mayor showed us and documents he says he will show commissioners tonight that he claims prove the developer really owes that additional tree fee. Documents commissioners say they never had when they first made their decision.
It all started at the City Commission's June 23rd meeting when a developer looking to continue construction here along State Road 434 near the Winter Springs Town Center argued to commissioners it had already paid the city's arbor fee almost a decade ago when the development first started, and was shocked when the city demanded another $227,000 for mowing down more trees and clearing another corner. But a majority of the commissioners voted to give the developer the benefit of the doubt and remove the $227,000 tree fee until this. The mayor called out his commissioners on Facebook in a post that now has more than 60 comments, saying each of the commissioners who voted for the fee removal held private meetings with representatives of the project.
And I regret the way that may come across.
Mayor, you basically put it out there to the community that you're challenging our ethics.
Do you feel you had enough information at the June 23rd meeting to make that decision?
Only because of the developer's agreements that we were able to gain because we talked to the landowner, the applicant who is building. We were not given any information.
From city staff.
That's correct.
Other posts from other people generated comments like this: accusations of corruption, calls for commissioners to be removed from office, and even that they pay the fee themselves.
We need the time to research it. And when we did realize that there was a disagreement, we should have tabled the vote and never had the vote. We should have been allowed to do the research. I'll accept some responsibility for that.
A month later, in July, commissioners voted again to move forward with going back. They agreed to reconsider the tree fee vote and tonight discuss reversing it.
So even under threat of a lawsuit from the developer, will the commission reverse their original vote tonight? Well, remember, after that first vote, one commissioner flipped, agreeing to bring this up all over again tonight, citing what he called new evidence, possibly what the mayor showed us in this packet that he'll also show the public tonight. You can see it starting here at 6:30. I'm your Winter Springs community correspondent, Eric Von Aken, News 6.
Tonight, the Lake Helen City Council will debate whether to cut the police department and hand over law enforcement to the Volusia County Sheriff's Office. They'll also consider putting the decision on the November ballot so residents can have the final say. If Lake Helen chooses to make the change, it would join Deltona, DeBary, Pearson, and Oak Hill in relying on the Sheriff's Office for law enforcement instead of having their own police department. Tonight's special meeting is set for 6 o'clock. Summer is officially over for hundreds of thousands of Central Florida students.
In Volusia County, the first day of school brings big changes to keep students safe. News 6 Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed was at DeLand High School for the big return.
An exciting start to this school year, and to make things even safer this year, the school district is working with the Volusia Sheriff's Office for a major crackdown on security. Some of it noticeable to students right as they walked in today. And with the early morning opening of the gates, the 2025-2026 school year has begun at DeLand High School.
Meeting new people and seeing our friends from last year.
The first day of school is coming with a big changes this year when it comes to students' discipline and safety. Cell phones this year in high school better be put away all day unless given a green light by a teacher for instructional use. Middle and elementary students aren't allowed to use them at all. High schoolers like those here in DeLand welcomed by staff and students at other schools walking in through metal detectors.
We're slowly phasing in metal detectors in all of the high schools, so probably early September all the high schools should be covered.
And the Sheriff's Office's new behavioral threat unit is officially in the schools. This team's goal, get those responsible for threats in handcuffs and prosecuted faster, or try to avoid the issue with the student before.
Because it's modeled after what the Secret Service does. It's to identify who is a possible threat and then get them the mental health help that they need.
The change is making some hesitant, others are welcoming the precautions and less distractions.
Like based off of the way we've had other students acting in the past few years, we will definitely have more boundaries set for us this year, which should keep us in line and keep us more on track.
I'm your Volusia County Community Correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
First day of school is also officially in the books in Brevard County. Community correspondent James Sparvero is asking the superintendent about new policies there, even stricter rules for students and their cell phones as well.
All right, it's his third opening day as Brevard Public Schools superintendent, and this year, Dr. Mark Rendell is excited. When the children get on the bus today, there is a new program, Dr. Rendell, to protect them, to penalize drivers if they drive around the buses when they're not supposed to be. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we've started a new program this year where if a driver drives past a stopped school bus, they're going to be recorded and they're going to be issued a ticket. And that ticket's $250. The whole goal is to make sure our students can get on and off the bus safely.
$250, that's a pretty steep ticket. You think that'll deter drivers from doing this?
Well, hopefully just the fact that they're being safe. You know, the $250 ticket should get everybody's attention.
All right, Dr. Rendell, and for a couple of years, looking at student discipline, cell phone usage has been one of the topics. And now Tuesday, it looks like the board will take up phones again, and this time it'll be K through 12 who can't use their phones?
Sure, we're going to strengthen our policy. In the past, cell phones have been outlawed during instructional time. In other words, students couldn't use their cell phones during class. The board's taken the step to make sure that students don't use the cell phones at all during the day. This kind of follows some state legislation. The idea is from the first bell of the day to the last bell of the day, students aren't using their cell phones, they're not distracted, they focus on their schoolwork.
And for parents who are concerned that their children won't have access to their phone in case of emergency?
I just think overall it's a better option for our kids to have their phones.
What would you say to them?
Yeah, students are always going to be able to access their phones if they need to in an emergency. And also, we used to handle emergencies without cell phones years ago, so we'll still be able to do that.
About the tickets, Dr. Rendell says there will be a grace period. Drivers who go around buses will get a warning for the first 5 weeks of the year. In Brevard County, I'm your community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
From safety to transportation, you can find all of our coverage of today's return to the classroom on our website. Head to clickorlando.com, search Back to School. Trooper Steve on patrol is doubling down on back-to-school safety and weather emergency readiness.
The peak of hurricane season isn't too far off. Osceola County Emergency Manager joined the patrol today to talk about decision-making that could make all the difference in a worst-case scenario.
They're not big. Correct. You guys are a small group of people who grab and create a team to manage the emergency.
Right, correct. No, you're right on.
Am I on the right ballpark here?
On it. You think there's only 67 directors in the state of Florida.
Okay.
Very small, but we really on a daily basis partner and collaborate with our outside agencies to bring them in, train them, get them ready, so when that big event does come, we're all ready to respond. As we say, we'd rather meet the people during blue skies than gray skies and trying to share numbers. So
no, that's a valid point. For you, what's the biggest thing that you're like, come on, guys?
I think now, the cycle, we used to say this, you know, after 2005, because we had that period almost for 10 years. We called it hurricane amnesia.
Okay.
Where we'd get in that cycle and then people were like, oh, no, it's not going to come here, whatever. But we have had that period now, so we've been very active. But it's still, we'll get that group of people that, oh, no, that's okay. Or we're waiting until the last minute to do things.
Right.
We're that instant gratification type, you know, environment. But then that's when we've got lines either at the gas stations or the Publix or, you know, the grocery stores. So that's why we say now, especially today is a prime example. We're blue skies all over, clear out. Go to the stores. You don't have to get your full kit. Just get a few items each week. Build your kit up. You know, we're, you know, just about a month away from the peak of hurricane season.
So you can watch the entire stream and this checklist conversation in the story on clickorlando.com. Look for the On Patrol page under the traffic tab right at the top of our website. Hit the road with Trooper Steve on patrol weekday mornings at 10, live on the News 6 Plus streaming app for your smart TV or clickorlando.com.
For the first time in a decade, Florida is considering a bear hunt.
The proposal has sparked both support and opposition. What's set to take place this week? Coming up.
And we have a few thunderstorms there on the radar for you this evening. I'll be back to show you how much longer this activity will continue, and we'll have an updated look at the tropics in minutes.
Plus, a new project promises to clean up the Indian River Lagoon by restoring millions of gallons of fresh water every day. How it will protect wildlife as well, that's coming up. And here's Jonathan Kagas navigating our weather app.
Go right back down again to the other, to the bottom to our hurricane section. If you click on get real-time updates, this is kind of the area where you'd want to see if there's an active storm. These are also the stories, the most up-to-date stories written by us when it comes to the tropics. So a really powerful tool to have to get our take on what's going on from real meteorologists rather than some of the stuff that's out there on social media.
Download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire.
Helping protect two of Florida's most important waterways. That's how Governor DeSantis and his team describe a project in Brevard County that is finally finished.
News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez is in Melbourne, where the governor paid a visit earlier today.
100 years ago, the M1 canal was built to control flooding here in Brevard County. But over time, it changed the way water naturally flowed between the St. John River and the Indian River Lagoon. Because of this, stormwater from over 53,000 acres in nearby communities carried harmful nutrients into the lagoon, leading to algae blooms and damaging water quality. The Crane Creek and M1 Canal project was started to fix this problem. The governor announcing today that it's done, and it will substantially reduce nutrient loading by providing an alternative water supply source to downstream users by restoring 7 million gallons of freshwater flow per day to the St. Johns River.
The project protects water quality, safeguards wildlife, and strengthens the community's way of life.
The project created 2 pump stations, 2 pipeline force mains, and a stormwater treatment area. This will prevent 24,000 pounds of nitrogen and 3,100 pounds of phosphorus from reaching the Indian River Lagoon annually, which is the same as a dump truck full of nutrients. Reporting in Brevard County, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
All right, good stuff. We have Samara Kokinos, our meteorologist, in tonight, and she is tracking some storms. Where is that, Samara?
That is moving into southernmost Orange County now. And the thing is it's boogieing. Let's take a look at this particular thunderstorm because it has been on the move, moving to the north at about 30 miles per hour with a special weather statement as it moves out of Osceola County and into southernmost Orange County. You can see packing quite a bit of lightning, though. It does look like that special weather statement. They just took it off. It was for wind gusts up near 40 and even 50 miles per hour. So there's still the potential to see some strong wind gusts associated with this thunderstorm. But you notice that the cluster there just to the south and east of Oak Ridge and Orlando has about 150 lightning strikes in it. So definitely a stronger thunderstorm there, but not severe. Still producing quite a bit of heavy rain, and that extends all the way almost into the Brevard County area from Osceola. Today we did manage to get up into the 90s, folks. Yesterday was in the upper 80s, low 90s. Today, Melbourne got up to 90, Leesburg 92, Sanford 93, Daytona Beach was sitting at 90. Orlando was the hot spot today, checking in at 94 degrees. And as we take a live view from our Daytona Beach sky cam, you can see it is absolutely picture perfect out there today. But inland is where we are starting to see some of those thunderstorms like I just showed you. And I do believe that the majority of the activity that we see tonight is going to be across the interior, not impacting the coast. So Daytona Beach, you're at 87 degrees right now. Melbourne, good evening to you, checking in at 89. It's 90 in Sanford and about 88 degrees right now in Orlando. Let's take you hour by hour through the clouds and rain forecast for you. We start the clock at 5 tonight, and you'll notice that the majority of the activity will be across the interior. This particular model isn't picking up so much on those thunderstorms across the southern, going into Osceola and southernmost Orange County, but it is placing a lot of that activity just to the north and west of the I-4 corridor. So I am anticipating some of this activity to spread out back along the I-4 corridor and then getting closer to I-75 as we get closer to that 8 and 9 o'clock hour before things clear out. Overnight, we're not going to have a big deal. It's just nice and quiet, right? It's just on the humid side when we wake up tomorrow morning. So as we go throughout the day, though, we will see some clouds start to billow up, maybe a few isolated showers by the noon hour, taking you into the second half of the day, though. I think that's where we start to see things crank up once again. So I-95 back to the west is where a lot of this activity is going to be, and it's going to crank up between the hours of about 3 and 6. Now notice, we'll still be dealing with some thunderstorms around the 7 o'clock hour that could linger through about 11 tomorrow night along I-75 and across portions of Southern Lake, Southern Sumter, going back into parts of Osceola, maybe even far western Orange County through at least 11 o'clock tomorrow night. But your rain chances for the most part look a lot like this, between about 40 and 50%. Now let's have a detailed look at the tropics.
Your forecast is sponsored by Publix.
All eyes have been on Tropical Storm Erin. Everybody's like, hey, what's going on? This is the 5 o'clock track update. Still 45 mile per hour winds, moving to the west at about 21 miles per hour. Notice this system continues to make that westward movement and goes into the central tropical Atlantic. The only difference on this track compared to the last one is that it's bringing it as a Category 1 hurricane early Thursday morning versus Wednesday night. So we'll see those fluctuations continue, but regardless, we are looking at our first hurricane of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season developing this week. Then it continues to strengthen to a Category 3 status. I do believe that that's going to happen. Look at these sea surface temperatures. We're talking about temperatures in the low to mid 80s, which is prime time fuel to see a system like that grow. The thing is, we're watching also the spaghetti models. Notice they're in tight agreement, still pretty tight agreement, and then you get near the end of this path, and it's just to the north of the Lesser Antilles, going from Saturday into Sunday and even Sunday night. You'll notice that they start to spread out, but a lot of these particular models are keeping it with that northward turn, and that has a lot to do with the area high pressure kind of making its way to the north and east and maybe weakening a little bit, keeping it away from the eastern seaboard. But of course, that is still far away, folks, so we'll be keeping you updated as the week goes on. Here's a look at tonight. Your forecast will call for the mid to upper 70s under partly cloudy to mostly clear skies. And as we look at the 7-day forecast, folks, here we go. We're back to the mid 90s. That's right. We turned down the rain chances a little bit between 40 and 50% each day. And that means, of course, we're going to crank up the heat. 95 and 96, still feeling like triple digit heat. It is still summer, even though people say, hey, we're back to school, summer's over.
Right?
I don't think it's over. I don't
Fall's
think it's
out at the stores, so I feel like, it's only fair that we start to see a change.
Fall shows up for that one Thursday in like November for us.
It's a couple
All
of
right,
minutes.
Savera, thank you. So to come a big decision when it comes to bears in Florida.
The big vote set for this week. Plus, you've got mail, no more, when AOL is finally ending its dial-up service. Did you know that was still a thing?
No, I did not.
This shocked me today. And a look back at the 1990s internet era.
Coming up in the morning, fighting chronic absenteeism in schools.
I'll show you the model that one local school says is getting results and what it could mean for students all over Central Florida.
We're going to give you everything you need to be successful in our model.
So they just show up.
Just show up with your body.
Plus, our rain chances go up a bit, all as the tropics heat up. We have your forecast every 10 minutes.
We'll see you for News 6 mornings starting at 6.
Take a break from those summer reruns and try out the all-new primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. We have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9. Then In Depth. Go in depth in the tropics as we answer your weather questions. Then watch the late news an hour earlier. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus. Well, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission just days away from voting on a proposal that could bring a seasonal bear hunt to the state, the first one in a decade. Over the weekend, protesters gathered across Florida, including a big demonstration in downtown Orlando. Some activists say the best way to keep people and bears safe is through education, not hunting.
Seminole County's implemented a bear-wise community standard, bear-proof cans, bear education for the communities that have bear populations living in close proximity of them. We're even under more scrutiny and more education.
State wildlife officials are set to vote Wednesday. If approved, hunting could start later this year. What was once the biggest name in internet service connectivity is finally pulling the plug.
Yeah, remember all the CDs that we used to have with all of our minutes that we could use to go online? America Online, or AOL, will end dial-up at the end of September. There are still people who use dial-up. Amazingly, as of 2023, about 163,000 households were using only dial-up. So you may remember in the 1990s that unmistakable sound of the dial-up connection. It was the signature tone of getting online.
Why don't you do it for us, Lisa?
No. It's awful as it is, let alone someone trying to imitate that.
It's bad.
Some more AOL nostalgia for you. The iconic voice that welcomed users with "You've Got Mail" was Elwood Edwards. He recorded that message in his living room along with other AOL greetings. And get this, AOL produced and distributed over 1 billion CDs as part of their marketing campaign. At its peak, dial-up speeds reached 56 kilobits per second. So to put that into perspective, today's average internet speed is 214 megabits per second. Man, it took forever to look up one thing on the internet.
Just to get it started with
kids
that awful
today have no idea.
They would freak out. All right, coming up on News 6 at 6, the tropics churning up what is expected to become the first hurricane of the season. Taking a closer look at Tropical Storm Erin and its projected path. Now at 6, a new fee to fund public safety has a local city fired up.
It wasn't assessed. It is an imposed, not voted for tax.
I'm tracking the tropics, how soon we can see our first hurricane of the season, and a closer look at its projected path.
And the wrong candidate listed on tens of thousands of sample ballots. Who was listed and how leaders are responding? You're watching News 6 at 6. And meteorologist Americo Quinos joins me tonight because we do have some activity in the tropics. We're talking about Tropical Storm Erin.
That's right. I mean, it formed earlier this morning. That was when meteorologist Jonathan Kegas was here. I was pinpointing Invest Storm 97L all weekend long, anticipating this to happen, but went from, instead of a tropical depression, got its act together and said, hey, Tropical Storm Erin is here. And now we're going to watch it continue to strengthen. So let's take a look here at that 5 o'clock advisory, and you'll notice that as we put this track in motion in just a moment, this system is moving west at 21 miles per hour with 45 mile per hour winds, central pressure of about 1,004 millibars. Putting this track in motion, you'll notice it continues to move across the central tropical Atlantic. And compared to the last track advisory that we had at 11 a.m., the 5 p.m. is now showing it going, instead of Wednesday night becoming that Category 1 hurricane, early Thursday morning. It could fluctuate between those two pretty much over the next couple of days. We'll see some changes like that happen. But regardless, we're going to see our first hurricane of the 2025 Atlantic season form this week. Then it'll continue to make its way west to northwest, where we could see it continue to strengthen to a Category 3 major hurricane. Yeah, that's quite possible, but notice I want you to keep in mind the end of this track is still pretty wide. That shows model of disagreements, okay? But look at this. Sea surface temperatures in the low to mid 80s, giving it all the fuel it needs to really ramp up very quickly as it gets closer to the north of the Lesser Antilles later this week going into this weekend. The thing is, it's not dealing with a lot of shear, not a lot of Saharan dust, but what we are looking at is an area of high pressure that kind of steers it. So where is it going to go? That's still in question. So I'll show you those models coming up in just a bit. Plus, we'll have an updated rain outlook for you in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Samara. Make sure you have our free News 6 weather app. It has our hurricane app built in. It sends personalized weather alerts, gives you access to the radar. Search WKMG in your app store. Developing at 6 now, we're waiting to learn from the FAA about a small plane, banner plane there that crash landed in the Ponce Inlet. It happened around 1 o'clock today, but we just got this video into our newsroom. You can see here that plane ended up upside down in the water. The FAA says only the pilot was on board, and the sheriff's office says they were not hurt. An incident report is expected to come tomorrow. Florida's Department of Government Efficiency team will be back at Orlando City Hall tomorrow. Representatives with DOGE were there today to begin an audit of the city's finances and spending. Your Orlando community correspondent Mike Valenti caught up with Mayor Buddy Dyer and commissioners about what they think this means for the city.
Mayor Buddy Dyer says the city of Orlando is cooperating with Florida's DOGE team, handing over thousands of files Monday to representatives who walked through that door.
We're open to letting anybody go through our books. Most of the information they have is readily available through public records requests, but we feel like we're a prudent, well-run city government.
2 weeks after the DOGE team sent Mayor Dyer this letter, the audit has officially begun. Spearheaded by State CFO Blaise Ngolia, Florida's version of DOGE has been scrutinizing the spending of local governments in the state. In Orlando, DOGE representatives will be taking a microscope to spending on homeless services and initiatives under the Office of Multicultural Affairs, the Office of Equity, and the Hispanic Office for Local Assistance. Those offices are mentioned under a section entitled Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion.
Do you view this as a legitimate probe or a political fishing expedition?
I'll pass on that one.
The DOGE letter, which has at least 60 specific requests, claims that annual property tax collections have increased by 55% over the past 5 years in the city, outpacing inflation and population growth. But critics argue that these audits are purely political and an effort to undermine home rule. I took those concerns not only to the mayor, but to 2 city commissioners.
Do you think this is legitimate or political?
Hey, I'd say this. We're going to give you all the answers that you're looking for. That's what we're here for. We are fiscally responsible here at the city of Orlando, and that's all this will show.
So it doesn't matter what the justification is?
Nope, doesn't.
I don't know what to make out of it, but at the end of the day, audits
have a positive purpose also, It exonerates people from any kind of negative thinking anybody may have. So I welcome audit.
In addition to Orlando, Orange County has also been selected for a DOJ audit. Representatives of the team were at the county administration building just last week. I'm your Orlando community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
And the spotlight on taxpayer money goes beyond Orlando. In Sanford, the city's tossing around the idea of implementing a new fire assessment fee. News 6's Emily McLeod joins us live. Emily, the city commission's expected to discuss that fire fee again tonight, and people are not happy about it.
Yeah, that's right, Matt. We got a call from a viewer this morning saying they were planning on coming out to tonight's meeting to voice their dissatisfaction over the proposed fire fee. The viewer told us they expect crowds at tonight's meeting to be even bigger than last time. Now, we've brought you this story a couple of times recently. If approved, the new fire fee would apply to all property owners citywide, including those whose homes currently receive tax exemptions, which is causing some retired residents to worry. City officials say the fire department needs to raise about $2.4 million annually to help cover expenses and fund critical improvements. Sanford Mayor Art Woodruff says the fee would cost about $95 a year per household. We caught up with the mayor ahead of tonight's commission meeting, and he says they're trying to manage the budget for the future.
If it passes this year, it would give us some additional revenue. We did not include a couple of things the fire department asked for, including an engine that we put off for a year. If this passes, we'll be able to fund those things. But we don't really have a decision for this year how we would spend that additional funds, but it would be going to the fire department.
Tonight's meeting is set to begin at 7 o'clock. We're keeping up with the latest, and we will bring it to you on air and online at clickorlando.com. I'll send it back to you, Matt.
Emily, thank you. Now to a major clue in a homicide investigation from 2023. In July of that year, Orlando police officers responded to gunfire on Metro Place Apartments on Kirkman Road. They found 32-year-old Nayan Pontine dead. Police say this image, clipped from a surveillance video, shows the person responsible. Orlando police are asking you to call Crime Line at the number on your screen if you can help in the investigation. You can stay anonymous, and you might get a reward as well. Scary crash on the first day of school in Volusia County. A teen was on an e-bike, got hit by a car. This happened on Howland Boulevard near Roble Lane in Deltona. That 14-year-old had to be airlifted to the hospital, too. Your Volusia County community correspondent, Molly Reed, went to the scene where she spoke with a witness who says he saw something like this coming.
And I keep telling my wife they're going to get hit, but this is the third time this happens. People get hit all the time here in this corner, especially because the guys that are coming from the back here, and they're going to try to make a right on Howland Boulevard. What happens is they're looking to the left. They're never looking to the right, and the kids are coming flying. They don't stop at the corner there. They just cross the street, with the e-bikes, regular bikes.
We're working to get an update on how the teen is doing. Volusia Schools tells us the teen did not go to any schools in the district. If you received a sample ballot in the mail from the Orange County Supervisor of Elections, you need to check it carefully because there was a big mistake on it. The ballots were sent to about 89,000 voters ahead of a special general election next month for House District 40 here. That includes people living in Lockhart, Pine Hills, Ocoee, and more. News 6's Laverne McGee went to the Supervisor of Elections office to find out how something like this could happen.
Because of this, we're going to work harder, right?
Rashawn Young is the Democratic nominee for the House District 40 special election. But if you are one of the almost 89,000 people who got a sample ballot this weekend, you will not see his name. You can see right here the name of the man he beat in the 24th Democrat special election primary election, Travaris McCurdy. A shocking mistake by the Orange County Supervisor of Elections office, led by Karen Castor-Dental.
I found out because I looked in the mailbox and pulled out my sample ballot and saw the error. But the team reached out to the supervisor's office, and she called me within the hour and assured me that they were going to make it right.
This College Park resident has Young signs on her lawn and is not happy his name was left off the sample ballot.
They shouldn't be making a mistake, but they did.
I asked Orange County Supervisor of Elections Karen Castor-Dental for an interview, but was told she was working on correcting the situation. Instead, her spokesperson told me what happened.
We've
been more than happy to explain. You know, it's a printing error. It did happen here in-house. It wasn't our vendor's fault. It was an error here on our end, and we've traced it. We've traced the origin, and we're working to rectify it.
As for how much this will cost taxpayers,
I would estimate maybe somewhere in the $25,000 range to fix or rectify with postage and everything included.
Young has been State Representative LaVon Bracey Davis' chief of staff for the last 3 years and is now running for her position. She is also on this special election ballot as the Democrat candidate for Senate District 15. So why is this special election even happening?
I ran for Senate District 15. I was successful in my primary, and candidate Rashawn Young ran for my seat, as that was part of my succession plan and his succession plan when that time became available. So we're in a special election because of the untimely death of Senator Geraldine Thompson.
Affected voters should be getting a new sample ballot prior to early voting, which starts on August 23rd. Election day is September 2nd. In Orange County, Laverne McGee, News 6.
Coming up, another long-running attraction closing at Universal Orlando. How soon it's set to close and the plans for the land after it's torn down. Lewis.
Today, we investigate online marketplace fraud that's leaving sellers and buyers out of thousands of dollars. I'm News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden. In this week's Schemes and Ripoffs Alert, we talk to an Orange County woman who says it happened to her. Coming up.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Advent Health, helping the communities we serve to feel whole.
Tonight, we investigate online marketplace fraud that's leaving sellers and buyers out of thousands of dollars. I'm News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden. In this week's Schemes and Ripoffs Alert, we talk to an Orange County woman who says it happened to her.
So I
uploaded the app.
Noriela's Maldonado Lutz only wanted to sell a few things on Poshmark.
I went ahead and I started adding all the pictures of my items, doing my profile.
When creating her profile, she says somehow her email address ended up on her public page and scammers were waiting. She immediately got this email, which appeared to be from the Poshmark team, but was really from a crook. When she clicked the link, a chat box came up asking for a credit card and telling her they needed to confirm her credit card information with a test charge. It was a big one.
I'm like, why are you doing $1,400? If I'm going to be selling, why are you charging that much for a test?
She immediately felt uneasy and immediately contacted her credit card company.
They never refunded me the money. They told me that because I allowed them to use my credit card number, that I was responsible for it.
She says she disputed the charge 5 times, but the credit card company held firm.
That it was not fraud, that it was a scam. And I'm like, isn't that the same thing?
News 6 contacted Poshmark, and a spokesperson told us via email, ensuring our community has a positive experience on Poshmark is of the utmost importance, which is why we established community guidelines that apply to all Poshers. They advise keeping transactions on Poshmark. They also say do not post private communications, contact information such as your email address and a phone number or other personal details in any public spaces on Poshmark.
The protection is the protection you afford yourself.
Holly Sammons is the president of the Better Business Bureau of Central Florida. She agrees with keeping all communication within the platform you're using. That outside email opened the door to the fraud.
And unfortunately, that can be a really expensive lesson to learn.
Maldonado Lutz says she's done with marketplaces for good.
I have literally no apps on my phone other than the phone calls and the text messages from my family.
Why?
Because I don't trust them. I don't trust them anymore.
Remember, don't fall for the scheme. Don't get ripped off. But if you do, email me at theinvestigators@wkmg.com. I'm Louis Bolden, News 6.
It's the final countdown for the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket at Universal Orlando. Thrill seekers only have one more week left to ride the coaster before it closes for good on the 18th. The ride is known for its 90-degree vertical lift hill, customizable music selection. It also reaches a top speed of 65 miles an hour. Documents filed by Universal with the South Florida Water Management District show the theme park wants to tear this thing down. It will then be replaced by a new ride with virtually the same footprint. Again, the last ride is on August the 18th. My kids almost dragged me on that one day, and then there was a lightning spared me from having to go on that because I hear it's jerky and uncomfortable.
You know what? No, I'm the holder of the stuff. I'm like, hey.
Yeah, I got you.
Go ahead. You don't even have to get a locker if you go there with me. I'll hold everything for you all day.
Good to have a stuff holder around for that stuff. Here's Samara Kokinos, our meteorologist. So what is going on with the atmosphere this evening? We don't have a ton going on, right?
No, we don't. And, I mentioned that last night. Jonathan mentioned it this morning that we wouldn't be seeing a whole lot of thunderstorm activity. What we would be seeing is kind of like what we're dealing with right there. Some isolated stuff, maybe a little more active as the evening goes on and wears on to about maybe 7 or 8 o'clock hour. But when we look at these thunderstorms that have been rolling through here, they have been packing a punch. I mean, especially the one rolling out of Osceola going through Orange County right now. You see quite a bit of lightning associated with that thunderstorm as it continues to make its way to the north. It was boogieing earlier, about 30 miles per hour, had wind gusts up near 50 miles per hour, didn't turn severe, but did have a special weather statement. So let's zoom in, and you can notice that we do have a few more thunderstorms near Lakeland and just south of Dundee to the east of Bartow tonight. Those are all moving to the north too, expected to move into Lake as well as Sumter County. So along that 75 corridor, we're anticipating some heavier rain to move into the area as we get into that 8 o'clock hour. Then we're going to zoom into the thunderstorm cell I was just mentioning from Osceola, now on the eastern half of Orange County, moving into Seminole County. You'll notice some heavy rain just to the north of Conway, going through Alafaya, some moderate rain. Winter Park, Altamont Springs, seeing quite a bit of heavy rain there, especially as you get back toward the 417. So all of this will continue to move to the north and should be out of your way in the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. Downtown Orlando sky camera really showing the setup. You see a thunderstorm off in the distance and then clear behind that. That's what we're talking about, very isolated activity, but we did manage to get up to 94 degrees today. So notice that as we head into the next couple of days, temperatures are going to get hotter with rain chances on the lower end. Right now we're in the lower 90s, still feeling like the triple digits, although Orlando 81 feels like 86, that rain cooled temperature right there. And as we head through the rest of tonight, notice that the majority of the activity does favor the I-75 I-95 corridor to the north and west between the hours of about 7 and 9 before clearing out. Heading through the day tomorrow, that's where we'll see some showers pick up, especially in the afternoon. I think after 2 o'clock through about 6 or 7. East of or west of the I-95 corridor, going back to I-75, 7 to about 9 o'clock. I think maybe even a few showers or thunderstorms lingering through 11 are quite possible. Rain coverage pretty about 40 to 50% each day this week, so nothing too substantial. Notice the 5 p.m. advisory on Tropical Storm Erin puts it as a Category 1 hurricane later this week around Thursday morning or so, and continuing to make its west to northwest path and strengthening into a Category 3 by Saturday afternoon. The model guidance pretty tight all the way through the central tropical Atlantic. It gets to the north of the Lesser Antilles, and that's where things start to spread out a little bit. So there is a little bit of a disagreement in that forecast in terms of, hey, how much or how is it going to stay away from the eastern seaboard, or is it going to get a little bit closer? And we'll continue to watch that as the week goes on. Here's a look at your forecast.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency, you ought to call Strata.
And as we look at that 7-day forecast, your high temperature tomorrow will be 95, a 40% coverage of rain, going up between 95 and 96 for the rest of the week. You may see a 94 in there, but what's a degree, right? At this point, we're only having a few scattered showers and thunderstorms each afternoon. Your overnight lows stay humid in the mid to upper 70s and low 80s.
All right, Samara, thank you. Sports Director Jamie Sate is here. Jamie, the college football season, not that I'm counting,
Not
but
that
it's
you're
20 days out.
Yeah, for most teams, it's 20 days out. It's like 18 days for UCF, but coming up, we talk 25, as in the preseason top 25 poll. It's out, and these mascots should be fired up about it. The Hurricanes and the Gators are getting national respect. That's next.
And a reminder, our free News 6 weather app has our hurricane app built in now. Search WKMG in your app store. News 6 meteorologist Jonathan Kagas has a quick look at how to use it.
Welcome back to News 6. Preseason polls in college football do not dictate the action on the field, but they are a sign of respect. And at this time of year, they're good for bragging rights, right? So sorry, Noles and Knights fans, you're going to be hearing from Hurricanes and Gators fans. Both are ranked in the AP preseason top 25 poll, which was released today. Miami's getting the most respect. The Canes are rated 10th, their highest preseason ranking since 2018. Meantime, the Florida Gators are ranked in the preseason for the first time in Coach Billy Napier's tenure. Gators are 15th. They're one of 10 SEC teams to make the preseason top 25. And their Week 6 opponent is ranked number 1 overall. I'm talking about Texas. The Longhorns getting the nod from the AP pollsters. Longhorns preseason number 1 for the first time ever. They edge out Penn State in the voting. Nittany Lions are 2, followed by defending national champ Ohio State, number 4 Clemson, number 5 Georgia, and number 6 Notre Dame. Hurricanes open the season against those Irish, but no team has a tougher schedule than Florida. 7 teams on the Gators' fall agenda are in that preseason top 25, and 4 are ranked in the top 10. We heard from Billy Napier today.
Ultimately, the games will be played this fall, and that'll decide who, ends the year ranked what. We have work to do to get ready for those opportunities. So 20 days until we spot the ball, and I think we're focused on the work at hand. But, hey, good to be ranked in the preseason.
Sure is. The Gators coach also gave an update on his starting quarterback. He confirmed DJ Lagway did not participate in Saturday's scrimmage, but the sophomore has been throwing more. He threw today. He looked good. DJ's still limited. Lagway is recovering from a calf strain. To soccer now. Victory was incredibly sweet for Orlando City and the team supporters last night. The Lions crushed their rivals from South Florida, Inter Miami.
Oh, Muriel trying to turn, and he does, and Muriel! Ojeda, near post, sticks in! Pashalich! Oh, this time it's in!
Orlando City really poured it on, beating Inter Miami 4-1 to sweep the season series for the first time. Last night's win propels Orlando past Inter Miami into 4th place in the Eastern Conference standings. Now, Leo Messi, the superstar, did not play for the visitors last night, but the result may not have changed. The stadium was packed, and that crowd certainly charged up the Lions. They have been on a hot streak over the last 5 matches, guys.
Messi's good. I don't know if he would have been worth 3 goals.
No, I don't think so,
to get that thing tied up. Interesting stuff. Samara, quick little look at the weather here.
So this is Tropical Storm Aaron, expected to become our first hurricane of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season, mid to late week, and it could strengthen to a major hurricane by this weekend, but of course, we'll keep you updated with all the changes that happen along the way.
Stay out there with the fish, please. More news at 9 on clickorlando.com, the News 6 Plus streaming